still straight view.
Ngo-1916 ise-straight view futhi.
The page ends with 2152 Molareki.
Manje ikhasi-ke liphela ngo-2152 isavesa umleleki.
We have found the GPRS for 9551, which is at the back.
Sitholeke i-GPRS 9551 ibingasemuva.
Okay, that reflects on page 1559.
Ithola ekhasini 1559.
At 1952, it starts off with straight view.
Isikhathi esinani sa-1952 iqala ngokuba endaweni ese-straight view.
Right to the end of the page at 2025, it still reflects as straight view.
Kuyofika ekugcineni kwekhasi lakho ngesikhathi se-2025 isekhona endaweni ese-straight view.
Page 1560
Page 1560
at 2025 reflects straight view.
ngesikhathi ka-2025 isakhombisa yona straight view.
It ends at 2033 with being straight view as well.
Iphelela futhi ngo-2033 isekhona endaweni ese-straight view.
Page 1561,
Manje siya ekhasini
straight view reflects as straight view.
ngasekugcineni kwekhasi-ke ngesikhathi
Page 1562,
masisiya ekhasini 1562
we are still on the number ending 9551.
sisekuyona le number egcina ngo-9551.
GPRS data reflects 2045 straight view.
Ngesikhathi ka-2045 i-GPRS ikhombisa isesendaweni ese-straight view.
Towards the middle bottom of the page at 2100 hours,
Ngo-2100 ushuthi ngo-9
it reflects phosphorus,
ikhombisa uphosphorus
GSMT 01.
i-GSMT 001.
At the same time, a few seconds later, it reflects straight view again.
Manje-ke awumakusendukula nje imizuzwana ikhombisa ise-straight view futhi.
At 2107,
Isikhathi se-2107
okay.
isendaweni esephakhe.
2108 straight view,
Ngesikhathi 2108 ithi straight view futhi.
and it ends at straight view at 2108.
Igcina ngayo-ke lo 2108 isesendaweni ese-straight view.
On page 1563, we start at 2108 straight view.
Ngekhasini 2163 isekhona ngo-2108 endaweni yese-straight view.
There are no changes on this page. At 2116, it ends at straight view.
Igcina-ke ngo-2116 isekhona endaweni yese-straight view.
Page 1564,
Ekhasini-ke u-1564
we start off at 2116
siqala-ke siku-2116 isikhathi
straight view.
se-straight view.
There are also no changes on there. At 2132, it ends with straight view.
Akukho kushintsho olwenzekileyo-ke kuyofika isikhathi ka-2132 isekhona lapha endaweni yese-straight view.
We are still on 9551 GPRS data.
Manje siseqhubeka ngokuba ngaphansi kwe-GPRS data yale number 9551.
At 2137, we begin with an undefined tower.
Manje ngo-2137 siqala ngale tower-ke engachazeki.
At 2137, a few seconds later, it reflects as straight view.
Imizuzwana-ke nje imbalwa isidlulile isakhombisa ukuthi isese-straight view.
2138, parquet.
Manje 2138 isithi phakhe.
2138, a few seconds later, it reverts to straight view.
Ngo-2138 isekudlule imizuzwana nje isithi straight view futhi.
At 2144, it reflects parquet again.
Ngo-2144 iyakhombisa ukuthi ithi phakhe futhi.
Just
Thereafter,
on that page, sorry to interrupt. Just on this page, can you tell the court what does APN represent?
APN is an access point network.
Manje APN because uchenye ukuthi access point network.
Can you elaborate more?
This actually allows you to connect to a server in order to get internet connection.
Manje uthi lowo ekukhombisa ukuthi uxhumana ne-server ekwazi ukuthi ungene ku-internet.
Can you also explain what is GPRS?
GPRS is anything that's internet related.
I-GPRS ilokhu kuhambelana ne-internet.
So if you're on Facebook, WhatsApp, reading the newspaper, you would then need a connection, and your APN connects you to access that.
Manje ke uma ufunda ke okuthize ku-internet i-APN iyaqhumanisa ke naloko okufundayo.
And then on the third last column, where it's written volume in bytes, what does that represent?
Manje uvolume in bytes uchaza ukuthini?
That's if you've downloaded any information,
Uma kukhona ke
uploaded or downloaded
uma ukhona
information.
okufakile ku-internet noma udownloadile ku-internet ilokhu kuchaza ukuthi yini ke lento ekuthiwa i-volume in bytes.
Can you also place on record the volume in bytes on 26 October at 21:40?
$21.40 2,953 bytes.
Kuthiwa kwama-bytes asetshenziswe inkulungwane nekhulu ayisishiyagalolunye amashumi ayisihlanu nantathu.
And then what does 0 represent in the third last column, volume in bytes?
That could represent just viewing without doing any downloads.
Manje ku-zero ke lo uchaza ukuthi hhayi ukubheka nje umuntu ebhekile ku-internet kodwa kungekho lutho aludownloadayo.
Okay, proceed.
Okay. So we will then move on to page 365. There hasn't been much change in the tower. It's between Spruitview and Parquet.
Kuthiwa ke uma siya ku-page 365 akho shintsho olukhona kule tower esetshenziswayo iphakathi nje kwe-Spruitview ne-Parquet.
So on page 1566,
Ekhasini 1566
we start on page on the top at 2146.
masiqala ngesikhathi sika-2146
It reflects a Spruitview.
ikhombisa ukuthi se-Spruitview.
Thereafter, a few seconds later, it moves to Vosloorus.
Emva kwemizuzwana nje imbalwa iyadlula iya endaweni yase-Vosloorus.
At 2147, we see Vosloorus North.
Ngo-2147 ikhombisa isendaweni yase-Vosloorus North.
2149, we see Igologolo.
Ngo-2145 ikhombisa endaweni se-Igologolo.
Okay, just on that point, can you tell the court what does PDP address represent?
Thini ke le address ekuthiwa yi-PDP?
Okay, that's your your IP address, your
Sure.
internet protocol address.
Kuthiwa ke lokho kukhombisa i-internet protocol address.
Let's proceed.
Okay, 2151, it reflects Vosloorus North.
Ngo-2151 ikhombisa se-Vosloorus North.
2155, it then moves on to clinics Vosloorus.
Manje 2155 ikhombisa isigudlukile ya endaweni yase-clinics e-Vosloorus.
2156, Vosloorus Square.
Manje ke 2156 isukile ngaseFoster Square.
Okay. And then what was downloaded there in bytes?
Yini kwadownloadwa lapho
1,199.
twake kudownloadwe amabytes awu-1299.
At 2156, it reflects clinics Phosphorus.
Ngo-2156 ibonakala isendaweni se-clinics for eFoslorus.
At 2159, it then reflects Phosphorus Square.
Ngo-2159 ibonakala iseFoslorus Square.
And the page ends at 2159
Ikhasi-ke lelo liphelela ngesikhathini sika-2159
with clinics Phosphorus.
isisendaweni yase-clinics Foslorus.
Can you just place on the
9,488 bytes.
So amabytes-ke adownloadwa ngaleso sikhathi ngesikhathi sika-2159
if you're able to do it or you can do it later, are you able to quantify how much data was downloaded on this column 3?
We are not able to tell. If you want the calculation of the entire page, we then have to calculate it up front. But there's no way of knowing exactly how much and what was downloaded.
Okay, sibenalwazi lokuthi kwakudownloadwa ini futhi engakanani ngaphandle kokuthi kuhlalwe phansi kuhlaziwe ukuthi ayingakanani.
We then move on to page 1567.
Siyake ekhasini 1567
At 2159,
isikhathi u-2159
it starts off with clinics Phosphorus.
qala-ke ngendaweni yase-clinics eFoslorus.
A few seconds later, it reflects as Bopang Kotsi.
Ngaleso sikhathi-ke ikhombisa isendaweni ekuthiwa ibupang khotso.
Then it moves on a few seconds later to clinics Phosphorus.
Emva kwemizuzwana nje iyasuka lapho iya e-clinics Foslorus.
Okay. Anything downloaded?
Khona yini okwadownloadwa lapho?
At 2159, 8,680 bytes reflecting.
Okubonakalayo lapha ku-8,680 bytes.
Okay. What I want to understand now, so much bytes, is it something that is running on the background of the phone or someone who is actively using the phone? Are you able to tell?
Athi uyakwazi ukubona ukuthi into ezenzekelayo nje efonini ingathintwa muntu noma kukhona-ke omuntu ozama ukwenza okuthize.
We're uncertain and we can't confirm for sure. It could be anything that could be updating or someone streaming or downloading.
Athi akukho indlela ongakwazi ukuthi kwaziwe ukuthi kuletha isiqiniseko sokuthi ukhona yini umuntu owayenza okuthize noma kwakukhona into nje eyayisi-update ngaleso sikhathi.
Let's proceed.
At 2200 hours,
Isikhathi sika-2200
it reflects as a Phosphorus Square.
ibonakala isendaweni yaseFoslorus Square.
Okay, go down to 2206.
Asiye esikhathini sika-2206
Bopang Khotso.
isendaweni ekuthiwa ibupang khotso.
It then moves back to clinics Phosphorus.
Yasuka futhi-ke iya e-clinics Foslorus.
Towards the bottom at 2210.
Mase singasekugcineni isikhathi kwawu-2210
It still reflects clinics Phosphorus.
saqhubeka ithi-ke isendaweni e-clinics eFoslorus.
Okay, before we proceed to the next column, What does duration represent?
Duration is reflects the time that it has taken to download or view or send your WhatsApp messages.
Right.
That's basically the time that you've spent.
Duration echaza ukuthi isikhathi ke sisetshenzisiwe mhlawumbe ukwenza noma udownload noma ukwenza okunye efonini.
And then what does ECI represent?
U-ECI yena usho ukuthini?
ECI is a code referred to towers.
Manje u-ECI ukhuluma ngekhodi ke ekhuluma ngamathawa.
So just for clarification, each and every code has a tower, has its own ECI code.
Yes.
Shuthi thawa nethawa ine-ECI code yayo.
How far are the following towers apart from each other? Clinics, First Loras, as well as First Loras Square.
Offhand, I cannot tell you, but by looking at the data, I would say close proximity.
Manje ke agqigqene kangakanani ke lamathawa e-clinics ne-Phosphorus Square athi angeke ngikwazi ukusho kodwa ke bona sengathi aseduze.
Yes.
So if we look at the bottom of the page,
Masesengasekugcineni kwekhasi
it reflects the 27th of October 2014
ukhuluma ngosuku lomhla 27 ku-October 2014.
at 3:20 in the morning. It reflects Phosphorus Square.
Ngesikhathi ka-3:20 ekuseni ikhombisa ukuthi ayisendaweni yase-Phosphorus Square.
It goes on until the end of the page at 3:27.
Ya-ke ngasekugcineni kwepage ngesikhathi ka-3:27.
Okay. And what was the duration there?
The duration was 4:38 seconds.
Athi kwawemizuzwana amashumi amathathu nesishiyagalombili.
And at the bottom of the page, the last entry, can you place it on record?
27th October at 3:27. It reflects as Phosphorus Square.
Wathi ngo-3:27 mhla 27 ku-October ikhombisa isendaweni yase-Phosphorus Square.
Next page.
Page 1568
Manje-ke siya ekhasini 1568
starts off at 3:28,
qala ngo-3:28
which still reflects Phosphorus Square.
sakhombisa i-Phosphorus Square.
At 4:34,
Isikhathi sika-4:34
it reflects as Elands Park.
ikhombisa-ke isendaweni yase-Elands Park.
4:35,
Isikhathi sika-4:35
Driehoek.
isendaweni yase-Driehoek.
5:35,
Isikhathi u-5:35
Sour Street.
ise-Sour Street.
5:35, a few seconds later,
Emva kwamazuzwana nje ngesikhathi sika-5:35 futhi
Joburg West Street.
ise-Joburg emgwaqweni kuthiwa West Street.
It then moves on to Sour Street at 6:15.
Ngo-6:15 iyabonakala iya endaweni yase-Sour Street.
At 7:21,
Yes,
West Street again.
Ngesikhathi se-7:21 iyaphindela futhi iyabonakala isendaweni yase-West Street.
At 8:57,
Ngesikhathi ka-8:57
the page ends off with Sour Street.
ikhasi ligcina isendaweni yase-Sour.
On page 1569,
Ikhasi-ke u-1569
it starts at 8:57,
qala ngo-8:57
Sour Street,
se-Sour Street
and 9 ends with 917 at Sour Street.
phelela ngo-917 sesekhona endaweni yaseSour Street.
And that's the end of the transactions.
Athi ke kuphelela ke kwaloko kwakwenzeka.
To the beginning of the addendum. Number starting with 082.
The next number is 082 704 4358.
Number ke elandelayo o-082-704-4398.
Page 1650.
Ikhasi 1650.
The transactions start at the top of the page for the 24th of October at 1852.
Isikhathi ke 1852 elanga umhla ka-24 ku-October.
The area tower picked up is Glen Ender
Ithawa ke etholakala lapho kuLenanda
at 1138 Melrose.
ngo-1138 ibonakala isendaweni yaseMelrose.
1911 Melrose and
Isikhathi sika-1911 ibonakala isendaweni yaseMelrose.
1918 Wanderers.
E-1918 ibonakala isendaweni yaseWanderers.
1936 Prelude Street.
Which street?
Prelude.
Inengweni isikhathi esika-1936 isemgwaqweni okuthiwa uPrelude Street.
2126 Spruit View.
Ngo-2126 ibonakala iqhumaka itholakala endaweni yaseSpirit View.
2128 Gardenville.
Ngo-2128 isendaweni yaseGarden Bay.
2247
Isikhathi sika-2247
Left and Frieda
ise
page, which is the 25th of October.
umase-
We then have undefined at 1407 on the 26th of October.
ngo-1407 sibona lapha kungachazeki ukuthi iqhubene nayiphi ikuyiphi indawo.
Just before the undefined, where it says no sell ID in ticket, what does that mean?
It means that it was on voicemail. It could be that there was no signal or the phone was switched off during that time.
So lapho ke chaza khona ukuthi no ID chaza ukuthi mhlambe biku-voicemail noma ke yayingaqhumene nalutho.
From 1407 right at the end of the page, where it's supposed to capture the IMEI number, it's blank. Can you explain that?
Yes, because it was on voicemail, it could not be identified.
Ngoba yayiku-voicemail bowungayokwazi ukuyichaza ke i-IMEI number.
Just for the sake of the record, and then what does CF mean?
CF is call forwarding, which indicates voicemail.
Manje u-CF lo uchaza ukuthi call forwarding okhuluma ukuthi yi-voicemail. Siyake ekhasini sekuyona le number egcina ngo-4358.
We start on the 26th of October at 2338.
Siqala ngomhla ka-26 October ngo-2348.
The cell phone's still on CF and there's no defined tower.
Ifoni lena itholakala iseku-CF okusho ukuthi ke akukho tower exhumana nayo.
Throughout the page, right to the end on the 27th at 0846, it remains on CF.
Ifoni ke ihlala iseku-CF ukuyofikela ngomhla ka-27 ngesikhathi sika 8:46.
We move over to the next page.
Ya ke ekhasini elilandelayo
Before you move to the next page, just on page 650, can you place on record the information on at 1050?
At 10:50 on the 25th of October 2024, an SMS was received.
kuthiwa ngo-10:50 ngomhla 25 ku-October kwatholakala i-SMS eyamukela.
And then information appearing at 1522 and 46.
Fifteen 22.
No, my apologies, 1512.
Yes. At 15:12 on the 25th as well, an SMS was received.
Ngolo 1512 kwatholakala i-SMS futhi.
We can proceed to the next page.
So on page 1652, it also reflects as voicemail from 8:55 right until 15:25 on the 27th of October, and no towers could be identified there.
So-ke kusuka ngesikhathi sika 1522 kwatholakala i-voicemail ngo-8:55 kuyofika ngo-15:25 kungumhla ka 27 October. Akukho lutho olubonakala ukuthi lwatholakala.
Just still on that page, on the 27th of October 2014 at 9:21 and 22, I see there's a call duration of 45 seconds. What does that 45 seconds represent?
At what time?
9:21.
9:21. 45 seconds. That could be the number that called left a voicemail message.
So uma libonakala 45 kwemizuzwana lapho lokho inamba efonile yafika yashiya umlayezo.
Just proceed to the next page.
Ngayo ekhasini elilandelayo
1653 is forward voicemail from 15:39 right until 20:36. Up to 20:36.
ukusuka ngo-15:39 kuyofikela ku-20:36 iyayicinyiwe ifoni.
The two top transaction reflects the last of the AMA data. It starts at 21:25 and ends at 21:52. It was still on voicemail with no towers identified.
So kusuka ngo-21:25 kuyofika ngo-21:52 yayisekuvoicemail kwakungekho mathawa ayixhumana nayo.
We then move on to the GPRS data, still on 4358.
Sisekuyona-ke le number u-4358 kuyobheka i-GPRS data yayo.
If we move on to page 2184,
Siyake ku-page 2184.
my apologies, there's no GPRS for October on page 1654.
Akho GPRS ebonakalayo-ke ngalelo langa.
If we move on to the next page, which is 2184,
Masiyake ku-khasini 2184.
there's data for the 26th of October
Kuthiwa-ke khona idata eyangomhla 26 October
on number ending 0436.
mayelana nenamba egcina ngo-0436.
We start off with the first transaction on the 26th at 7:52.
Qala ngomhla ka 26 isikhathi 7:52
An SMS was sent
thunyelwe ke SMS
to the number ending 6669,
ithunyelwa kule number ke egcina ngo-669
and the tower picked up was Malbarton.
and ithawa ke esetshenziswayo lapho ithawa ekuthiwa Melbarton.
At 8:49,
Isikhathi esa-8:49
an SMS was sent out,
thumela ke SMS
and that area picked up was Glen Vista High.
and ke lapho ke indawo kwakuyindawo yase-Glen Vista High.
It remains as Glen Vista until 9/11,
Ihlala ke i-Glen Vista kuyofika isikhathi sika-9/11.
at 9:25,
Ngo-9:25 ike
it then reflects as Malbarton.
ivela njengo-Melbarton.
It reflects as Malbarton right until 9:30.
Kuze kuyofika u-9:30 sakhombisa yena uMelbarton.
Thereafter, at 9:35, it's Glen Vista. 9:37.
Ngo-9:37 iku-Komaro Road.
At 9:50, Boysons.
Ngo-9:50 ithi Boysen.
10:26, Basonia.
Ngo-10:26 ikhombisa endaweni yaseBasonia.
Whilst on this page, can you clarify what is USSD?
A USSD is a stream. You generally use this stream to buy airtime or top up your airtime, or it is an internet related transaction.
So u-USSD ke ukhombisa ke indlela ukuthi othenga ngayo i-airtime kwe-internet.
Can I proceed to the next page?
On page 2185, it starts off at 10:30 with an undefined tower.
So iqala ngo-10:30 lapha ku-page 2185 la ikhombisa khona ukuthi itower ayikwazi ukubonakala.
10:59 picks up Soot Doring Circle.
Jordan
Soot.
oh itower ke etholakalayo ngalesi sikhathi iJordan Suit.
We then have undefines until 11:16.
Uyofikela ngo-11:16 sibona lapha kungena tower ekwazi ukuthi itholakale.
We then start again at 11:17.
Siqala futhi ngo-11:17
Soot Doring Circle.
yabonakala
At 11:53, Malbarton.
ngo-11:53 ibonakala isi-Melbarton.
11:59, Basonia.
11:59 ithi Basonia.
We then move at 15:41 and Long Claw is picked up.
Sidlulela ke manje ku-11:41 lapha ithola khona i-Long Claw.
At 15:42, Basonia.
Ngo-15:42 ibonakala esendaweni yaseBasonia.
15:46, Randwater.
Ngo-15:46 ithi Randwater.
At 17:22, it's Basonia.
17:22 ithi Basonia.
And it ends at 17:25 with Randwater.
Igcina ke ku-17:25 nge-Randwater.
We then move over to the next page.
Kudlulwa ikhasini elilandelayo.
We start off at 17:57.
Akukho la ichazela khona ukwazi ukubonakala ukuthi kuphi until izofika isikhathi ka-1827.
At 21:01, we then have Bopang Khotso.
So manje ngo-1821 kuyabonakala ukuthi 21
21:01.
ngesikhathi sika-2101 isendaweni ekuthiwa iBupangkhotso.
21:05, Clinics Foslores.
Ngo-2105 isendaweni se-clinics for Stores.
At 2317, we have Phosphorus North.
2317 isendaweni se-Stores North.
2319, we have Spruit View.
2319 se-Spruit View.
2326, Parkhead.
2326 isendaweni se-Parkhead.
2331 until 0043, Spruit View.
Ngo-2331 iyofika lapha ethi 0043 sesendaweni se-Spruit View.
We then have the 27th at 713 up till 834, undefined.
Ukusuka ngo-7 13 iyofika ngo-824 ngomhla 27 akuchaze ukuthi ngabi la.
If we move on to the next page,
Mase sidlula ekhasini elilandelayo.
on the 27th at 9:02,
Ngomhla 27 isikhathi ko-09:02
we start off with no identified tower
kuqala-ke kungekena-tower ebonakalayo.
right until 9:37.
Kuhambe kuze kuyofika u-9:37.
Thereafter, at 10:52, we pick up Sour Street.
Ngo-10:52 kuyabonakala kutholakala umgwaqo uSour Street.
At 13:17, we pick up Brixton Saps.
Nge-1917 kuyabonakala lapha kuvela isiphoyisa saseBrixton.
That is up to 1425, where Brixton Saps is still picked up.
Kuyofika ku-1425 kusabonakala isiphoyisa saseBrixton.
From 1454 right to the end of the page, there is no tower, no transactions.
Kusukela ngo-1454 ukuyofika ekugcineni akubonakali i-tower nokuthi akubonakali lutho
Is it 7?
siyasuka ekhasini 2187
We start at 9:02
qalayo ngo-9:02 ekuseni.
with an unidentified tower.
Akukho tower exhunyana nayo.
That's up to 9:37.
Kusho ukuthi lo uhlala kunjalo kuyoba isikhathi sika-9:37.
At 10:52, we then pick up Sour Street.
Ngo-10:52 ke kubonakala lapha umgwaqo kuthiwa uSour Street.
Oh, I think I did read this, but nevertheless.
Come
We
again?
end up at 1425 with Brixton Saps.
Ngo-1425 kuyabonakala futhi ukuthi kutholakala uBrixton Saps.
I don't have page number 21, the page that the witness has just mentioned now, so I can't follow it. She said it's page number 21,
2187.
2187.
Yes.
She mentioned that. No, I do have it, but I think she mentioned another number which is not 2187.
No, she did not mention any other number. Did you mention any other number?
No.
I'm listening. She did not. She said 2187. As she's talking, I'm writing freehand. Not even consulting what she has there. Okay, continue, ma'am.
We then move on to the next page.
Siyake ekhasini elilandelayo
4629.
i-4629
And this is where we will see the GPRS data.
yila sothola-ke i-GPRS data khona.
We start at 1946 with an undefined area.
Qala-ke ngo-1946 la engekho-ke incazelo ukuthi ilaphi.
1947 reflects straight view.
1947 ikhombisa i-straight view.
We see straight view right until 1958.
Uze kuyofika la ku-1958 kusabonakala yona i-straight view.
At 1958, a few seconds later, we see Fos Loris.
Ngo-1958 kusandokudlula imizuzwana nje kutholakala i-straight.
From 1958, a few seconds after that, right until the end of the page, we have straight view.
From 1958 kuyofika ekupheleleni kwekhasi sakhombisa yona i-straight view.
If we turn over to page 4630,
Masidwe ekhasini 4630
we're still on the 26th
sekhona ngomhla 26
at 2002.
sikhathi 2002
We begin with an undefined.
kala ke kungena kubonakala ukuthi ilaphi.
At 2003, we get straight view.
2003 kubonakala i-straight view.
2016, Fos Loris.
Ngo-2016 i-phosphorus.
2017, straight view.
Ngo-2017 straight view.
Until the end of the page of 2035.
Kuze kuyofika ekugcineni kwekhasi 2035.
On the next
Before we
page,
proceed, my lord, can I request that we take the long adjournment at this stage before we move to the next page? The time is 12:57.
Okay, 2 o'clock then.
4631.
4631.
31. We are still on the date of 26th October 2014.
Siqala ekhasini 4631 sisekhona mhla 26 of October 2014.
We start with the activity at 2035,
Siqala ngesikhathi sika 2035.
and the tower identified is straight view.
Ithawa ke eboniwe lapho i-gate view.
At 2036,
Ngo-2036
we then see parquet.
so sibona ke ithawa lena ekuthiwa parquet.
2042 straight view. 42.
Ngesikhathi ke sa 2042 straight view.
2043 parquet.
2043 parquet.
A few seconds later at 2043 it's straight view.
Futhi ke imizuzwana elandelayo ngaso sonke isikhathi sa 2043 i-straight view.
2044 parquet.
2044 i-parquet.
We then look at 2046.
Bese sibheka u-2046.
It reflects as Phosphorus North.
Ibonakala lapho i-Phosphorus North.
At 2047 straight view.
Ngesikhathi sa 2047 it is straight view.
And 2049 we end up with parquet.
And ngo-2049 siphelela nge-parquet.
We then move on to page 4632.
Bese siya ekhasini u-4632.
We're still on the 26th of October.
Umhla 26 October.
We start off at 2049
Siqala ngesikhathi sika 2049
and we get a parquet.
sisathola yena parquet.
We move a little down to 2050, which is straight view.
Siyahla ke kancane siya ku 2050 seku straight view.
Thereafter, a few seconds later, it's parquet.
Emva komsuswana seku parquet futhi.
We then go to 2052 and pick up straight view.
Siya lapha ku 2052 utholakala straight view.
2055 Phosphorus North.
2055 u-Phosphorus North.
At 2059, we get clinics Phosphorus.
Ngo-2059 sitholakala u-clinics e-Phosphorus.
We then end on 2059 at clinics Phosphorus.
Gcina-ke ngo-2059 ise-clinics ese-Phosphorus.
If we move on to 4633, the next page,
Uma siya ke ku-page 4633 ikhasi elilandelayo.
at 2059, we start with Phosphorus Square.
Ngesikhathi ka-2059 thola ese-Phosphorus Square.
2059, a few seconds later, clinics Phosphorus.
Imizuzwana elandelayo imbalwa itholakala ese-clinics Phosphorus.
At 2101,
Isikhathi sika-2101
we see Bopang Khotso.
sibona ibupangkhotso.
Thereafter, at 2001, a few seconds later, it's clinics Phosphorus.
Ngathi isikhathi esilandela 2001 sise-Phosphorus.
From then until 2107, we are at clinics Phosphorus.
Kusukela ngaleso sikhathi kuyofika 2107 se-clinics Phosphorus.
2124 at Bopang Khotso.
2124 kubonakala sebupangkhotso.
And we end at 2028 with clinics Phosphorus.
Siphelela ngo-2028 e-clinics Phosphorus.
If we move on to the next page, which is
Masiya ekhasini
4634,
elilandelayo u-4634.
we begin at 2128.
Siqala ngesikhathi sika-2128
We have clinics Phosphorus.
sine-clinics e-Phosphorus.
Thereafter, Phosphorus Square.
Emva kwalokho i-Phosphorus Square.
We then go to the end of the page,
siya ke emaphethelweni alelo khasi
2216,
sikhathi 2216
it changes to Popang Khotso.
yaguquka lapho ke sekuba iPankgotso.
On this page, it moves between Vosloorus Square, Clinics Vosloorus, and therefore I went to the bottom of the page.
ngale phakathi ke lana lapho isuka eFosloorus Square ne-clinics eseFosloorus ikho nje ngiye ekugcineni kwepage.
We then move on to 4635.
siya ke ku-4635
Our first activity there is 2216.
isikhathi esiqala ngaso is-2216
The tower picked up is Clinics Vosloorus,
ithawa ke esiyibambayo lapho i-clinics Vosloorus
2301 Popang Khotso,
ngesikhathi sika-2301 iBupankgotso.
At 2303, we pick up Mapleton.
ngesikhathi sika-2303 ithawa ebanjwayo iMapleton
2305 Vosloorus Square,
ngesikhathi ka-2305 iFosloorus Square
and we end with Vosloorus Square
sigcina lapho ngeFosloorus Square
with Clinics Vosloorus in between.
sigcine ke phakathi nendawo kungene iFosloorus clinic phakathi nendawo.
We then move on to page 4636.
siya ke ekhasini 4636
We are on the same date, 26th October.
sisaya kulona-ke lolo suku likamhla ka-26 October.
We start with Clinics Vosloorus at 2307.
siqala ke ngo-2307 kusese-clinic seFosloorus.
Thereafter, Vosloorus Square,
emva kwaloko ke seyi-Vosloorus Square
back to Clinics Vosloorus.
buyele futhi e-clinics Vosloorus.
Towards the middle of the page, at
masishama phakathi nendawo nekhasi
2322,
sikhathi 2322
22, we then have Spruit View.
sithola ke Spruit View.
2323, Parker.
2323 Parker,
2325, Parker.
2325 Parker,
2327, we end with Spruit View.
2327 sigcina nge-Spruit View.
We move on to page 4637.
siya ke ekhasini 4637
We begin at 2328.
siqala ke ngesikhathi sika-2328
We get Spruit View again.
sithola i-Spruit View futhi.
Spruit View goes right until 2338, which is the end of the page.
i-Spruit View siyaqhubeka sizofika 2338 la isemaphethelweni alelo khasi.
We move over to page 4638,
siya ke ekhasini 4638
still on GPRS data.
sisakhuluma ngayo i-GPRS data
2338 Spruit View.
2338 ise-Spruit View.
We then end at 2347 at Spruit View.
sigcina ke ngo-2347 sise-Spruit View.
This entire page has the same cell name, which
No.
is Spruit View.
lonke ke leli khasi libonakala linephawa eyodwa nje i-Spruit View.
Moving on to page 4639.
siya ke ku-4639
At 2347 Spruit View,
u-2347 sibona i-Spruit View.
2348, 2349 we have an undefined.
u-2349 akukho lutho oluchazekayo.
We then end at 2356 at Spruit View again.
sigcina ke futhi ke ngesikhathi sika-2356 e-Spruit View futhi.
This page also has Spruit.
siya ke ekhasini 4640
We begin with 2358
siqala ngo-2358
Parker,
seParker,
It then moves on to sprayed view.
Siyadlula ke i-spread view.
We have an undefined on 2359 and 0001.
Kusuka ngesikhathi ka-2359 kuyofika 0001 lapho-ke akunancazelo ebonisayo ukuthi kukuphi.
A few seconds later, on the 27th, 0001, we pick up sprayed. 2 undefines at 0009.
Nalapho-ke kungenancazelo khona kusuka ngo-0009
And 0011.
kuyofika ku-0011.
We end the page at 0016 with parquet.
I-page liphelela ngo-0016 endaweni-ke kuthiwa iphakhe.
4642 begins on the 27th of October at 0016
U-4640
view.
sibona-ke lapho indawo ise-spread view.
Between sprayed view and parquet,
Phakathi kwe-spread view nephakhe
that reflects on this page.
evela kuleli khasi.
And we end up at 0028 with sprayed view.
Sifika ku-0028 ise-spread view.
Moving on to page 4643.
Siye-ke ekhasini 4643
We start at 0028.
siqala ngo-0028
We get sprayed view.
sola i-spread view
0029.
nge-spread view
0032 parquet.
ngesi-0032 iphakhe.
And we end up at 0038 parquet at the end. This page consists of 2 towers, movement between parquet and sprayed view.
Leli khasi leli likhuluma ngokusuka ngonyakaza phakathi kwe-spread view nephakhe.
On page 4644,
Ikhasi-ke u-4644
we begin at 0038,
siqala ngo-0038
3046 sprayed view,
ngo-0046 i-spread view,
0057 undefined,
ngo-0057 asazi akwazi ukuthi ibilaphi.
0058 we end with sprayed view,
Ekhasini elilandelayo
4645
u-4645
we start with the 27th at 0059,
siqala-ke ngilapha ngo-0059 isikhathi iye ngamhla 27
Phosphorus.
ikhuluma ngokwase-phosphorus.
A few seconds later, sprayed view.
Emva kwemizuzwana nje sithi se-spread view.
At 1 o'clock on the 27th, we have an undefined.
Ngo-1 o'clock ikhuluma ngokuthi akwazi ukuthi ilaphi.
A few seconds thereafter, sprayed view.
Emva kwemizuzwana nje se-spread view.
And from 0111 until the end of the page, 01946.
Isikhathi esodu 0125 25 minutes past 1
And we get phosphorus.
phosphorus.
126 sprayed view.
131 sithola la kungena
135, 50 seconds, we get sprayed view.
u-135 kufika ngo-135 50 seconds thola spread view.
0137 parquet.
u-137 sithola iphakhe.
0138 phosphorus.
u-138 sithola i-phosphorus.
And at 9:15 we get West Street.
ngo-9:15 ila sithola khona umgwaqo u-West Street.
On page 4647
ekhasini-ke u-4647
we begin with 918 Sour Street.
siqala ngo-9:18 sathola wona lo mgwaqo u-Sour Street.
At 11:53
sithola-ke i-JSE.
at 11:54 Sour Street.
ngo-11:50
At 12:31, we get undefined.
ngo-12:31 ayikho incazelo
A few seconds later, at the
street.
still on the 27th,
Sisakuyena umhla ka-27
12:45,
ngo-12:45
we get Queen's Park.
sikhona ikhuluma ngo-Queen's Park.
12:46, Brixton.
Ngo-12:46 ikhuluma nge-Brixton.
12:47, Mayfair West.
Ngo-12:47 ikhuluma nge-Mayfair West.
13:17, Brixton.
Ngo-13:17 iBrixton.
14:12, Mayfair West.
Ngo-14:12 Mayfair West.
14:19, Brixton.
Ngo-14:19 iseBrixton.
At 14:22, we end the page with Brixton.
Ngo-14:22 liyaphela
In Mayfair West and Brixton.
leli
And,
khasi lonke likhombisa ukuthi bephakathi kwe-Mayfair West neBrixton.
and one part of Queen's Park.
Nenye-ke isikhashana esincane la bese-Queen's Park.
And that is the end of the GPRS data.
Ya ubona-ke kuphelela-ke kwe-GPS data.
Thank you. And then the SMSs.
The SMSs that we would find on page 2184.
Ma-SMS uzothola ekhasini 2184.
SMS was made from the number ending 0436 to 6669.
Khona-ke SMS ephuma kule number ephela ngo-0436 igcina-ke iya kule number i-669.
The towers picked up on the first two transactions were Malbarton.
Manje ithapha-ke ekhombisa la uma bexhumana i-Melbarton.
Again on the 26th at 11:03,
Ngo-11:03 umhla 26
an outgoing SMS from the number ending 0436
kusuka kule number ephelela ngo-0436
to 6669,
iya ku-669
and Glen Vista was picked up as the tower.
and ikhombisa i-Glen Vista West itower.
The same as the 11:04 outgoing SMSs.
Kufikela ngesikhathi sika-11:04 la kuphuma khona SMS.
At 9:30 on the 26th,
Mhla 26 ngo-9:30
an SMS was sent from 0436
ikhona i-SMS evele ku-0436
to 6669,
iya ku-669
and Malbarton was picked up.
and isaxhumana nayo le tower i-Melbarton.
The same occurred at 10:26.
Phinde kwenzeka kanjalo-ke ngo-10:26
That was a call.
lapho-ke kwakuthintana ngokuxhumana ngocingo ufoni.
If we go on to 2185,
Uma sengisiya lapha ekhasini 2185
an SMS sent from 0436
kukhona SMS ephuma ku-0436
to 6669,
iya ku-669.
and we could not identify a tower there.
Lapho-ke akwazange kutholakala ukuthi yiphi tower ebisenza lapho.
At 11:53,
Isikhathi sika-11:53
another SMS from 0436
khona i-SMS ephuma-ke kuyo le number u-0436
to 6669.
iya kuyo le number u-669.
Mountbatten was picked up again.
Mail button iyona eyatholakala.
At 15:42,
Ngesikhathi sika-1542
an SMS was sent again to the 669 number,
ikhona SMS eyathunyelwa futhi iya kule number u-669.
and the tower picked up was Besonia.
Itower-ke eyatholakala lapho uBasoni.
17:25,
Isikhathi sika-1725
another SMS,
khona i-SMS futhi eyaphuma
and Besonia was picked up again.
futhi kwaphinde kwathiwa ukuthi itower esetshenziswayo uBasoni.
The same as with the transaction for 1723,
Futhi-ke kwabanjalo ngesikhathi sika-1723
Besonia was picked up.
kwakusetshenziswa yona iBasoni.
1725,
Nga-1725 futhi
Rand Water was picked up.
kwatholakala ukuthi itower i-Rand Water.
If we turn over to 2186,
Uma siya ekhasini 2186
an SMS was sent on the 27th
khona i-SMS eyathunyelwa ngomhla 27
at 0043
number shuthi iya kuyona le number u-669.
and the tower picked up was Spruit View.
Itower-ke esetshenziswa lapho i-Spruit View.
That's the last SMS on that page. If we-
Yona-ke SMS ekugcina kulelo khasi.
there was no
Akubanga-ke nakuqhuma phakathi kwale number 0436 nale egcina ngo-669.
Okay. Okay. Regarding the SMS
Mayelana namatower
from 1857
ama-SMS ahamba ngayiphi itower kusukela
on the 26th
ngo-1857
of October.
mhla 26 October.
1857 is an undefined tower,
Ngo-1857 itower engaziwa
and at 01:59, sorry, 21:01:59 seconds,
ngo-21:01:59 seconds
that was a call which was for Pangkotso, and the last SMS was at 0043 on the 27th, and Spruit View.
Let's start again. Let me do it.
Okay, sorry.
No, ngo-21:01:59 kwakuqhunyelwa netower ekwakuthiwa iBupangkgotso.
And at 0043 on the 27th, the last message or SMS reflects Spruit View.
Ngesikhathi ka-0043 ngomhla 27 i-message yokugcina ikhombisa i-Spruit View.
Thank you. Now, let's focus on the number ending with 51 of the deceased, the one that was identified as belonging to Senzo Meyiwa.
071 437 9551. So that data starts on page 361.
siqale ke ekhasini u-361 sikhuluma ngale number e-071 437 9551.
And the number that was identified as belonging to Kelly Kumalo ending with 4358.
Futhi sibheka nale number egcina ngo-4358 ekuthiwa kwakuyinumber kaKelly Khumalo.
4358.
As well as the number ending with 2498.
Okay, 4358 data begins at page 1650.
Izetha-ke number egcina ngo-4358 iqala lapha ekhasini u-1650.
And data ending 0436 begins begins on 218.
On the 26th of October 2014, between 1900 and 2000, were they picking the same town?
Yes, they were.
So-ke ngamhla 26 ku-October lezi number lezi kusukela ngo-1900 kuyofika ngo-2000 kushuthi ngo-7 kuyofika ngo-8 zazixhumana netower eyodwa na othi yebo.
Which are these numbers?
082
Wait. 082
704
704
4358
4358
060
060
804
804
0436
0436
and 071
071
437
437
9551.
9551. So these are three numbers.
Yes,
So we're picking up the same towers.
yes.
Can you please that on record?
Lotus, Sprite View, Bopang Khotso. The phones did travel to and fro. I've picked up South Street, West Street. On one or two of the numbers, it was Wanderers, Lichter, and Frieda, Pasonia, Glen Vista. I would say that those were the most common towers.
John is in number 082 704 4358, no 060 804 0436, no 071 437 9551. Zazithi ziqhumana nemathawa afanayo. Amathawa abonakala kakhulu i-clinics ne-phosphorus ne-spirit view. Ibonakala kujwayele ukuthintana nayo kwakuyi-phosphorus square nebupangkhotso. Kodwa kuyavela ukuthi nezinye inamba bezihamba zithinta ithawa njengesawa ne-West Street ne-Rand Water what is the name?
Pasonia and Glen Vista.
Ne-Pasonia ne-Glen Vista.
Just confine yourself to the 26th of October 2014.
you. Opangotse,
Spread you upang Khotso,
Pake,
Pake,
Clinics, Fosloris,
the clinics for Sloras,
and Fosloris Square.
the for Sloras Square.
Thank you. I would like to show you Exhibit 01.
Exhibit 01.
That's correct, my lord.
What is it?
It's an affidavit by Colonel Stein.
Ngifisa ukukhombisa i-affidavit evela ku-Colonel Stein.
Can you just place the page number there on record?
Page 23.
Uthi-ke ikhasi kwawo-page 23.
The information that I would like to draw your attention on is at the bottom of the page.
Ngifisa ukuthi bheka ukubona ilapha ingasekugcineni kwekhasi.
Yes.
Are you able to see that? And then what you have testified about on paragraph number 9.
Can I ask the state to beam that page that the state is referring to so that the clients can be able to see that page?
Yes, sir.
My lord, the witness does not have that statement on her device.
On her computer?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not the one who's beaming that information
Hello?
from. I'm saying I'm not the one who's beaming the information on the monitor. It is the witness. And
So the
she
witness
not
doesn't have Colonel Stein's affidavit.
That's correct.
But the state, my lord, does have the statement.
My lord, it will mean. I will come back to that aspect.
Which aspect?
The one of
They want you to beam it simultaneously.
I think it will be better if we just go on. Sorry.
Yeah, me, I think.
Let's proceed with the statement. Thank you.
You see.
Although it was not made by this witness.
So that is Stein's affidavit.
that's correct, my lord.
Okay. It's on page?
Page 23.
23.
Page 23 of Exhibit 01. Yes.
On paragraph number 9 of your affidavit, as well as page 23 of Stein's affidavit,
So her affidavit is triple J.
triple J, that's
J1.
correct. J1.
Yeah, right?
And the affidavit of Colonel Stein is exhibit 01, page
Right, yeah.
23.
Page 23.
Yes.
Okay.
This is what is contained in the affidavit of Colonel Stein versus what you have.
Wena usanda kufunda ukuthi kuqoshwe.
Yes.
And then evidence before this court is that this evidence is from the downloading of a cell phone
nje ke ufakazi obula enkantolo ukuthi lokhu ke kwakuyilaba bedownloada khona i-cellphone.
And then what you have testified on today is in relation to section 205.
Manje ububeka la enkantolo ubuhambelana ne-section 205.
Yes, that's correct.
Bathi yebo kuyiqiniso.
Can you compare these two?
Ungaqhathanisa ke lo bufakazi obulana ukuthi yasitshela ukuthi bufanaphi behlukaphi.
Okay, firstly, I can only testify on my statement and my evidence, but because I was asked to do a comparison, I will then identify it. I can confirm that the MSISDNs are the same.
Ngingasho ukuthi ama-MS ayafana.
MSI?
MSISDN.
Ama-MSISDN
The
ayafana.
same.
Yes.
Just simplify, what is it, MSIDN?
MSISDN refers to the cell phone number in question.
Shuke MSISDN ikhuluma ngomakhalekhukhwini, inombolo kamakhalekhukhwini.
The IMSI number, which refers to the unique serial number of a SIM card,
Shuke ke
are
imzi
the
number
same.
inamba ke ekhombisa ke inamba kamakhalekhukhwini engafani nenye. Kuyabonakala ukuthi ngapha nangapha kule mibiko ehlukene ayafana.
The IMEI numbers, which indicates the serial number of the handset or cell phone, are similar.
Shuke IMEI ukhuluma ngesirial number kamakhalekhukhwini ayafana.
The call type is similar, which reflects an outgoing call.
Kushuke uhlobo ke lwamakholi aphumayo ke ayafana.
The date and the duration.
Is the court, my lord? I
Yeah.
hear the witness saying that the outgoing calls are the same, but that is an MTC. It's an incoming call, not an outgoing call.
Yes, I haven't completed saying what I needed to say.
Yeah, but MTC stands for mobile terminating call.
Yes,
and
that-
the person that is receiving the call, not
Yes.
the person that's making the call.
So if you gave me
We
a
need
chance,
to be very accurate with our terminology.
if you had given me a chance, I would have
Thank
said
you.
which number made the call.
Okay.
So you haven't completed your statement?
No, I haven't.
Okay, please
My lord.
complete it.
The 2nd of August and 15th of October
Ngomhla 2 ku-August nomhla 15 ku-October.
would. This is where the difference comes in.
Nawo kumehluko la utholakala khona.
The other party number is different.
In the number ke yale lo munye oxhunyana naye yehluko.
This reflects on the 2nd of August that the number ending with 1330
Kuthiwa ngomhla 2 August inamba egcina ngo-1330.
Called.
130, sorry.
called the number ending with 43. 15th of October,
Ngomhla 15 October.
the other party is different.
Lo number oxhunyana naye yehlukile.
It indicates that the other party ending in 9551
Le enye ke ifuna oxhunyana naye egcina ngo-9551.
called the number ending in 4358.
Yona iyathintana nale number egcina ngo-4358.
Thank you. Is that all? Is that all?
Yes.
Wathi kona konke ke lokho.
I don't have the cell name on my set of data, and there's a cell name on this set of data
Wathi
on page 22.
kuyami data nginayo kodwa kule enginikiwe ikhona ku-page 23.
Now, are you able to explain before this court the difference in this data that is presented before you?
Ngingakwazi ukuchazela inkantolo ukuthi yini kunomehluko kuleyo data onikwe yona.
The only explanation I can give you is that this has come directly from our NEMO system. It was that was on our database at Vodacom.
Engachaza ukuthi lokhu kuvela emshinini wethu uNemo database yaseVodacom.
This data does reflect under the AMA data,
Bathi ke le data ivela ku-AMA data.
which implies that a call was received.
Uchaza ukuthi khona ke ifoni eyangena.
This activity on page 23 does not reflect on our set of data.
Lokhu kulapha ku page 23 akuveli ku set yethu ye data.
And then, what could be a possible explanation that it does not reflect on your set of data?
Manje yini incazelo engachaza ukuthi yini ke kungaveli ku data yenu?
Because it doesn't reflect on AMA data, there could be a possibility that it could be under GPRS.
So njengoba ingaveli ku-AMA data ingaba nokuthi mhlambe ivela ku-GPRS.
Although on our set of GPRS data,
Nanoma ke ku data set yethu ye-GPRS
it would not reflect as a call.
angeke ivele kithina ibonakala njenge-call.
Is a call. I just avoided to object just before this witness can give her explanation, which is a speculation.
Are you speculating, ma'am?
Yes.
On my set of data, no.
Athi uma ngikhuluma ngeyami data angikageli.
No, the question was, can she please give a possible explanation with regard to the differences between the two tables, particularly with regard to the call that is making the call to the first one, I mean the call to the other one, that is that number ending in 202 making a call to the number ending with 358. Why is that information that is contained in Mr. State's affidavit not the same information that is contained in her affidavit? Then the state says to her, can she please then come up with a possible explanation? Then I'm saying to the court has said that we should wait for the witness to finish their answer before we can object.
Yes.
But I am saying that this state is calling the witness to come up with a conjecture, which is a speculation, which is not based on facts. And this witness says, insofar as my data is concerned, I am not speculating. We have to hear about the data relating to state.
The way I understand the state, Mr.
Mr. Sibande, Advocate Sibande.
Are you not saying you request an explanation, if there is any?
That's correct.
Are you respecting a conjecture, guesswork?
No.
Please.
My Lord, she says a possible explanation,
That's it, yeah, fine.
which is not based on facts. That's a conjecture. It's a speculation, a possibility.
Ma'am,
This is not rocket science.
can we hear from you? A conjecture and speculation and explanation, is there a difference?
Yes,
Hello?
to an extent, my lord. But I will, however, mention the fact that, as I've indicated at the beginning, before testifying on this data, that I can only speak for what I have on my data.
Right.
I cannot speak for somebody else's data.
Hayi mina ngakwazi ukukhuluma ngedata yami kuphela, angeke ngakwazi ukuthi ngilethe ubufakazi ngedata yomunye umuntu.
Yes, Mr.
That's correct, my lord. The witness before court is also an expert.
Hello?
The witness before court, she's also an expert. She can also give an opinion. And
Well,
that's
she
what
says
she's doing at the
she's
moment.
not prepared. Are you prepared to do so or not?
I will make a statement once again that I am not confirming
Colonel Stein's affidavit.
data. Yes.
Yeah.
I am not confirming it. But when asked of what the difference was, this could be a possibility that it could appear on the GPRS data. But with that said, I've also said that on our set of GPRS data,
Doesn't appear.
It doesn't appear as a call.
Right.
You cannot differentiate between a call or a message under the GPRS data because it's internet usage.
Yeah. But the call exists. Are you with me?
Yes,
Are you with me?
I'm with you.
When I say, but the fact is that call, the number called, which you cannot speculate whether it's incoming or outgoing or whatever, it exists.
I cannot confirm that this call
Exists.
exists.
Okay, fine.
ngikwazi kulesi siqinisekiso sokuthi hayi le call iyabakho.
Can you further explain a call on GPRS stream? You can do that by way of giving an example so that you can understand.
Okay, as I've indicated and said a few minutes ago, under the GPRS stream, it's all the internet-related activities. That is whether you surf the net or use WhatsApp to make a call. Back in the day, it used to be BBM. That would all fall under GPRS. But then again, I reiterate, you cannot differentiate under the GPRS stream whether it is a message, whether you were streaming, or whether you have made a call. All it shows us is the usage of that transaction.
Thiwa kachazeke nge-GPRS stream osethi ke ilapho kuvela khona ke ukuthi umuntu usebenzise i-internet akuchazi ukuthi wayesenzisiwe wayesabe enza i-call noma wayezibukela nje ku-GPRS. Kodwa ke konke kubonakala kuyi-GPRS. Umehluka ubonakala ukuthi lana i-call lana i-WhatsApp ngoba nje konke kuyafana la.
Yeah, from my understanding. But there is an intercommunication or a transaction between two numbers.
Yes.
Otherwise, I must go and study mathematics again. So that number can't interact alone. It interacts with another number. But you are not able to determine whether it is a GPS or whatever.
Yes, we cannot establish what the activity is.
But the activity concerns two numbers.
Yes.
Athi kukhona ke ukubona ugcina kubona ke ukuthi ukuxhumana kona kukhona ukuthi kwakwenziwani ikona kungaveli kahle ungacaci kodwa ukuxhumana kona phakathi kwezinombolo ezimbili kukhona.
You also mentioned WhatsApp call as well as BBM call. Can you also explain what that is and what does it entail?
So when I mentioned BBM, that was back in the day during this period. You would need to have a BlackBerry handset. We've moved with technology, we have smartphones now. If you needed to use the BBM, you needed to download the BBM app. When you surf the internet, it would then show blackberry.net under the APN. If we talk about WhatsApp, it's a more modern technology, also an application that needs to be downloaded. Possibly on the APN, you would then find vodacom.co.za. As we've said earlier, the APN is the access point network. You have to connect to a server to get this. And that's the difference with technology of BBN those days and WhatsApp nowadays.
I-BBM ke kwakuhlobo olwalidinga ukuthi usebenzise le phone okuthiwa yi-BlackBerry ofanele kube nayo. I-BBM kwakuyi-application ofanele download ngoba idinga ukuthi be khona leyo application lapha ekhombisa ibhala ukuthi blackberry.net okusho ukuthi i-APM esetshenziswayo i-WhatsApp nayo i-application entsha ke efanele nayo ukuthi download manje ke lapha ku-Vodacom ikhombisa ukuthi ihamba nge-access point ihamba nge-access point network so kule malanga akudala kwakubona eyikhona le kwakuthiwa u-BBM kodwa kule malanga le ayisekho leyo BBM.
Can you find a BBM call on the section 205?
But uyakwazi ukuthatha i-BBM call lapha ngaphansi kwa-section 205?
We would not be able to identify a BBM call because it would have been under the GPRS stream.
Sikwazi kuyibona leyo BBM call ngoba iyoba ingaphansi kwe-GPRS stream.
Before I leave this point, you also made mention of the fact that if it's a call on BBM, it will also make mention of blackberry.net.
Yes.
Can I ask my colleague to speak aloud? I'm struggling to hear him. Thank you.
You made mention that if it's a call over BBM, it will show blackberry.net or VodacomLive.com. If you go back now to the data or the GRS, so to make sure I get GPRS stream.
Yes.
Of the number ending with 4358.
May the statement, Madam, assist us with the page number on which they are.
Okay.
And what exhibit?
We're still on exhibit JJJ1. I'm on page 1654.
I am on page 1654, and if we look at the GPRS stream,
Sisekhasini 1654 masibheka lapha i-GPRS stream lapho.
and we are on number ending 4358.
Kule number egcina ngo-4358
Under the APN column,
ngaphansi kwe-APN column
you will find blackberry.net.
uzothola lapho ubhala ukuthi blackberry.net.
So that's what you meant with BBM calls.
Ilapho usho nge-BBM call.
Not necessarily BBM calls, but every transaction relating to BBM, which
Okay.
could include calls.
Angisho ukuthi kwakuyi-BBM call leyo kodwa ke nanoma yini ke yenzeka lapho ngaphansi kwe-BBM elizohlanganisa futhi ke nawo ke ama-call avela ku-BBM.
Okay. There's something else that I need clarification on. On page 4633,
Naselapha ekhasini 4633
on the GPRS stream,
4633. Yes.
APN
APN is LT sorry, it's Vodacom.za.
Pen lapho light vodacom.co.za.
It's actually LTE, but I will make sure. LTE Vodacom ZA.
LTE vodacom.za.
Okay. Thank you. Now let us move back to the addendum.
That too?
The addendum.
Oh,
The
that's
statement, yes. The number ending with 0436 as well as the number ending with 4358 9551 2498.
Dasibheke lesi number ke lapha esithaselweni 0436 egcina futhi ngo4358 negcina ngo9551 negcina ngo2498.
Yes.
Yes. Do those numbers that I mentioned after 2100 on the 26th of October 2014 pick up locations at clinics? The clinics, what? These clinics for Flores.
Yes.
Can you also mention, I know you have done this, for the sake of the record, mention individually, just give a general time after 2100, this was the time and location that it picked up after 2100.
There were random times after 2100.
Yes, it's fine.
I would say from about 2100 hours right until maybe 2300 hours or leading into midnight that these towers were picked up.
Sure, which is this number 0436 4358 9551 2498. Ukusukela ke ngesikhathi sika 21 ngomhla 2610 zazi bonakala ngesithinta tower clinics ne Force Loaders ukusukela ngo21 athi uyofika mhlambe ka city ke 23 hours sifika nakhona ku esikhathini sika 0000 besithinta ithande tower yona.
Okay, just explain to the court, how does the tower feeds into the device, the information?
Okay, so in terms of having a cell phone, the first thing you do is when you purchase a SIM card and a phone,
Umuntu uqala ke uthola cell phone uthenga ne SIM card.
Maybe before this witness proceeds here, I'm struggling to find out on the number that ends with 4358 the date on which that number goes beyond 21 hours. I don't know what page is that. That number that ends with 4358 that goes beyond 21 hours. Maybe the state can assist me with that.
But this witness was asked about 4 numbers. Is that not so? Mr. Mnisi, this witness was asked about 4 numbers, which proliferate the hours between 2100 hours, as she says, to up to about midnight on the 26th.
Excuse me, my lord.
I say this witness was asked about 4 numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. So you only want 1 number, you don't want the 4.
No, I can tell you, I'm struggling from these voluminous documents to find out specifically the time that goes beyond 21 hours in respect of the number that ends with 4358. No. Yes.
Yeah,
I want
that's
that
why-
specific
that's
date
why I
where
say
you can
it-
see that this number 4 that ends with 4358 goes beyond 21 hours. I'm not saying all the numbers, the specific number that I'm referring to. Now.
Yeah, fine.
Yes, so that's why I'm requesting the state to assist me to follow him. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you go to page 1650?
Page 1650.
1650.
Correct.
The time, sir.
From 1407:51,
1407
51,
to
2332 at the bottom of the page.
It shows undefined that the cell phone was on voicemail during this period.
So ngo 140751 uyofika ngo 2332 the number ethi 1650 khombisa ukuthi no akho la iqhumana khona ngoba ithi undefined.
but the fact is it was active during the time.
Yes.
Yeah, mention the period.
Yes,
During
it
which
was,
it was
active during that period,
Yes, give us the-
although a tower could not be
That's it. So
identified.
give us the number when it was active, the time rather.
It was active from 1407
1407,
51 from the 26th
26.
of October.
Yeah.
It was on CF from that period right until,
Meaning undefined.
yes, I'm going to the last activity of when it was on voicemail.
Yes.
It goes on to page
Page.
1654 until 27th October
Yes.
2152 that it was on voicemail,
Right.
although a tower could not be identified.
Okay.
So remember then on 26 October kusukela ngo 1407 kuyofika 51 where kuzofika ekhasini 1554 mhla 27 ngesikhathi sa 2152 le number bilokhu isebenza kodwa ke nanoma ithawa kungakwazi ukuthi
Before we move to a new exhibit, let's clarify the following. Are you familiar with the downloading process that was undertaken by Colonel Stein?
No.
Can you please question again?
Is she familiar with the downloading process that was done by Colonel Stein?
Wathi yazi yini ukuthi wayesenzisa luphi uhlobo lokudownloada u-Kenneth Stein wathi cha akazi
Of a handset.
ukuthi uhlobo leni le-handset
No.
wathi cha akazi.
Objection, my lord. Why the state is always inviting these hearsay questions, my lord? Because Stein never worked with the current witness who is on the witness box. The questions are irrelevant, my lord.
I don't know about that. Are you talking, sir? Hi. Are you talking about the method?
Indeed so, my lord.
You're not talking about,
The analysis.
that's it, you're talking the method
The
utilized.
method, yes.
It's like saying a motor vehicle, when it is on, it's an automatic vehicle. You push the clutch and then you start it. Is that the method?
Method.
Okay, he's talking about the
But
method.
it's not the method.
Well, he's saying that, I'm not
It's
saying
not
that.
the method. He's saying, do you know which device the Colonel Stein used?
Device. He talked about the method.
But my lord, over and above that,
No, no,
this
hey,
is
man,
like-
why do you argue about useless things like this?
No, this is not useless. Over and above that, the state tried to siphon evidence or testimony from the witness. This witness specifically told this guy that I cannot comment on the work that was prepared by Mr. Stein.
Okay, fine.
So why then does the state have to keep on trying to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig on something that this witness has already told this court that he can't comment on?
Okay, let's go on. Yes, sir.
Elizabeth, please, my lord.
Hello?
Do I respond or must I
I don't
just
know. What do you want to do?
My lord, I just wanted to invite a comment from the witness, but if my colleagues...
They say you are digging. You are digging up.
No. It's
You
a
are
concept,
cooking, in other
my
words. You are
lord.
cooking evidence.
No objection, my lord. Nobody said cooking.
Oinky course and you're
We-
putting
we-
in
we-
salt and pepper.
In the best terminology of that you can use, my lord, you rather use trumped,
You what?
or the word trumped, which means evidence that has been made up, not really cooking. At least we have graduated to that level, my lord,
Is that
so
so?
to speak. Yes. But the essence of it is that this witness gave an umbrella answer that she can't comment on.
What is your question? So that everybody can understand it.
I mean, it's a concept. I wanted to understand
The concept of doing what?
the downloading concept as well as the section 205. If she knows the process that the police use to download the information,
abayazi ukuthi inhlobo ukuthi amaphoyisa senza yiphi method.
okay. Lastly, if you don't know, it's fine. Will this downloaded information on the device also appear on the section 205?
No.
Athi cha into edownloadwe section 205 angeke ivele ku section 205.
My lord, it's 20
I-
past.
Can I complete?
Yes.
No. As I've indicated, on a download from the handset itself, you would get the messages, and as the phone was used, you'd get all those details. On our set of data,
Everything.
there's no messages. So that's where the difference is. It will show you that there's an activity, but it does not give you the contents of that message.
Mabe kuyi.
He calls it 20 past 3.
That GMT. When it says 20 past 3, it could mean in the morning. But you are now in the afternoon, that is 15 to 8.
Mr. Zbanda, they're correcting you. They say you are reckless with your language.
It has been a long day, my lord.
Okay, yeah, so tomorrow at 10 o'clock then.